Peace and love upon the king and queen geniuses. Welcome back. This is a follow-up continuation to the last video I posted to the 7 cures of the dis-ease of being broke, not only in your pockets but in your mind. Okay, so knowing y'all, the viewers, actually the doers and the subscribers is actually providers, so the doers and providers, not viewers and subscribers. So to all my doers and providers, I know you've been applying this knowledge, wisdom, and information because it's been showing not only in your stacking up your chips, but also in the application, the multiplication of your knowledge, which is your mind. So I'm already knowing these are all facts. Okay, I know you becoming more wealthy. I can see it. Okay, so the follow up with that, same thing, is actually we're going into the 5 laws of gold. Like I said before, there's laws to the universe, laws to science, laws to math. Now we're gonna go briefly into the laws of gold. This is mainly important because I want to eliminate all excuses. Right now, as a people, we broke in our pockets, we're also broke in our minds. I want to take away those excuses. We could apply this knowledge, wisdom, and information so we could take things to the next level. And then I'll start to reveal other things that are important, not just money. Money is a tool, wealth is a tool, but it's not the end goal, it's not the end result. We also need to elevate our mentals, you know what I'm saying? We got to have blueprints, and we also need to create community. These are all important. But none of those things can be done without an economic basis, okay? With a wealth mindset. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to get into the 5 laws of gold. All right, so the first law: gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Okay, so I enjoy reading things like this because it's like a puzzle for me. I read it and it's almost like it's in a different language, and then I gotta rearrange my brain or my mindset to understand exactly what this author is saying or what he's writing. So it says, gold cometh gladly. Now gold, as we know, is an inanimate object. It can't be happy or sad. So when something comes gladly, that means it's coming in abundance. It's coming at very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So when gold comes quickly and in a lot, in abundance, and increasing quantity, that's a lot, to any man, doesn't discriminate, it doesn't matter, to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings. Remember the last time when I told you the 7 cures? Now these are the laws. You understand? This is how you execute and what to execute on based off of 1/10 of his earnings. 1/10. Okay, do the mathematics when it comes to your check. You know what I'm saying? Keep it easy. If you get $100, that's $10 put aside. After a while, it's gonna add up. Okay, 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate or an establishment, for his future and that of his family, an establishment for his own future or her own future and the future of their family. Keep these things in mind. That's the first law. So it doesn't discriminate who you are. If you put that money aside for yourself and for your family, you're gonna be wealthy because this is the law of gold. Unbreakable. You understand? That's just the first one. Let's get to the next one. Law of gold number 2. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Man, let's look at that again. That's a puzzle. Let's take it apart or put it together. You feel me? Gold laboreth. It means it works. Something laboreth. You done spent 9 to 5 hours. A whole hour, 8 hours laboreth thing. Your labor. Look, thy laboreth. All right. So gold works. Put it to work diligently, not lazily, not on its own time, diligently. A good worker. Gold laboreth, works hard and happily, contentedly, happily for the wise owner, which is you. which is I. Gold works for us hard and happily for us who finds for it. That means you're seeking profitable employment. So who is your money working for? Is your money working for you, or is it working for somebody else who is not you or your family or your future? Find out. Cause money gonna work hard. It don't matter. Money gonna work hard. It is going to work hard, but who is it working hard for? Multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Like I said, application is the multiplication of your thoughts. Application of knowledge is the multiplication of that knowledge. Okay, so your money is the multiplication of that which you're applying it to. What are you spending your money on? What are you investing it on? Even as the flocks of the field. Flocks. Birds fly in flocks. Sheep flock in flocks. Sheep gather in flocks. So it's multiplying. Any group of a thing is becoming a flock. So your money is going to multiply quicker. It says multiplying even as the flocks of the field. Okay, so as you see things multiplying in flocks, that's how your money will multiply if you stick to these laws. Let's go to number 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests in it under the advice of men wise in its handling. It's another puzzle. Take it apart, put it back together. Gold clingeth, holds on to, clingeth. You know, some people are like, oh, I'm in a relationship and this person's too clingy. Well, get in a relationship with some clingy money. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Get in a relationship with some clingy money. Okay? Clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner. That's you and I. We're cautious owner. We are not flamboyant with our money. We're not wasteful with our money. We are cautious with our money. That's a genius activity, becoming cautious with your money. Cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. How do you know someone's wise in their money? You can see how they spend it or how they don't. You can come to the understanding you see somebody is wise with their money, and then you heed their advice. You ask them for the advice. You understand? Cool. So that's number 3. We're going to go on number 4. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. Man, that's a heavy one. Okay, let's break it down, pick it back up. Gold slippeth. Slippeth. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught slipping. You heard it from me. Don't get caught slipping. It slippeth. It goes bye-bye. It's gone. Bye-bye. Away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar. So they just, people who, oh, that sounds good. I don't know much about it, but it sounds good. Let me just invest some money in it. Bye. And then coming back. And listen to me. I done fell into this a few times. Okay, I done came across opportunities prior to these videos. Prior to me reading this book, came into opportunities, thought I was doing a little bit of something because I was like, oh yeah, this is good. It sounds good. Let me invest some money into it. No return on my investment. It's okay because I also invested knowledge and that was experience. So the return that I received was in experience. I would have preferred to receive back return on my investments in a monetary content or monetary value, but I didn't. It was experience, you know what I'm saying, which is priceless. No excuses and no complaints. It's a learning experience, but I'm just letting you know. That's why I'm here to tell you, don't invest in businesses that you have no knowledge whatsoever in. All right, unless you find where it says he is not familiar or are not approved by those skilled in its keep. So if you can't find somebody who is skilled in its keep, basically has those knowledge and experience, which is skilled in its keep. Keep meaning in its particular circumstance. You understand? In that business, in that field. Okay? All right. Now we on number 5. It's a V. Roman numerals 5. I know this is 2, but it's 5. Okay? The V is 5. Gold Fleas. Again, we got slippeth and we got fleas. Slippeth sounds slippery. Fleas sounds quick, gone, by, fast. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. Man, that's a huge jigsaw puzzle. We're going to have to break that down piece by piece. All right? Gold flees. Flees. Pew, bye. The man or woman who would force it to impossible earnings. So another word we could use for force is to pressure, apply pressure, an unnecessary amount of pressure to impossible earnings. So somebody says, if you give me $500, I can turn it back into $1 million overnight. All I need is $500. I can make it happen. Believe me, I can do it. Mathematically, that sounds like incorrect. It sounds like a mistake. Okay? And it most likely is. If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Okay? So we're going to continue. Impossible earnings. Or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters. Alluring advice of tricksters. Alluring is seeming luxurious. Alluring is to captivate through charisma. Advice of tricksters and schemers. Tricksters, otherwise known as con men. Okay, con men. The prefix of con men, which is con, is the same prefix in confidence. Someone who applies their charisma on another to increase that person's confidence for the purposes of scheming. That's a con man. Who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. Romantic desires in investment. Many times people will hear of this idea of investment and they think romantically, meaning unrealistic. It's this pretty place like the stock market, and they think that they can place $100 in, and the next morning they wake up and they've got $3,000. That's a romantic idea. And it's romantic because it's unrealistic. They use the term romantic similar to, you have the Disney princess stories where they find their Prince Charming and everything is romantic and pretty. It's not always like that. Reality is very rarely like that. You understand? So this is definitely a heavy amount of information. It's the laws. Laws are the foundation in which those cures can be applied on. So really what should be understood, and they go interchangeably, is the cures and the laws go hand in hand. Because once you know how to apply the cures and you know the basis of the laws, once you build on top of each other or you build with each other in a cycle, the only result that you can receive is wealth built on your economic foundation. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, this is the last video I'll be doing based off of this book and wealth in terms of from another man's perspective out of the book. From here on, moving forward, if you're interested, especially in genius activities, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking science, things of this nature, and I'll be demonstrating certain ways on how I educate my students, how they can apply it in in their lives, in their daily lives, in the hood, so that they can increase their mindset and increase their mind capacity, so that not only are they focused on leaving the hood, but their very purpose of being is to change their immediate surroundings, so they're not having to go anywhere. You stay where you are, black man. You stay where you are, black woman. You stay where you are, original individual. You stay where you are and you change your immediate surroundings. You understand? Don't have nobody kick you up out. Stay where you are. Build your empire right where you're at. Put your money in your pocket. Stay where you are and do what you have to do where you are. My father told me, he said, no matter where you go, there you are. So every time somebody said, oh, he made it up out the hood. No, he didn't make it. He left. If you make it, you create where you are. You understand? So with that being said, the first foundation is wealth. You know what I'm saying? And then we keep moving forward. Tap in if you want to learn about some science and these genius activities. Peace and love.